pretty simple. You want to win races, put KMCs on your truck.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah!
Here we go. The first 2 cars heading on the line right now. Now we have a marker coming to the finish line.
Alexander Ford, voted Yuma's best locally owned new car dealer, wants to continue to be your best choice in September. See our website, BillAlexanderFord.com, for exciting inventory like Raptor, Bronco, Mustang, Explorer, and Edge. Get 1.9% for 36 months on new Ford F-150s. Scan this QR code now for out-of-the-park savings. Come test drive the exciting Mustang Mach-E or Lightning EV, plus rows of Super Duty trucks. Get more for your trade and a lower price all month long at Alexander Ford. A difference you can count on.
Sure, everything's made of something, but time and sweat is what puts it together. And it's that relentless application of effort against the clock that created everything around us. The BF Goodrich HD Terrain Tire is engineered to tackle the extreme situations heavy-duty trucks are met with head-on. Because downtime can't exist when there's a job to do. Time isn't something to marvel at. It's something to be seized. It's a tool we put firmly in your hands. BF Goodrich, what are you building for?
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! What's up, everybody? What's up, party people? Welcome to Fishgistics. This episode centered around the lovely Score International Baja 400 coming up in just over a week, more or less 10 days. My name is Cameron Steele. I am your host today by default because Fish can't get anybody that can talk as much as me, has as much experience as me, and will work for as cheap as me. If you can guess how much I'm getting paid for this show in the comments, I'll give you my paycheck. So get ready to go for it. On this episode, we are honored to have some great guests. But first, before we do that, I wanted to say, disclaimer, it's all opinion-based. We're having fun. We're talking a little trash. We might hurt some feelings. My feelings might get hurt. It's okay. It's just part of it. But also, don't take everything we say to gospel because the roads change, the weather comes in, there's livestock, there's farm trucks coming the other way. Everything can and will change. It's opinion-based. With that said, I'm Cameron Steele, which I already said, driver of the number 16 Monster Energy FIDAC Score trophy truck, which I know that Jose G loves when I say Score. Welcome, Jose G, to the show. Jose G is the CEO and race director for Score International. We are super stoked to have you here, Jose.
No, I'm super happy to be here on the program with all of you, with the young legends on this program. Super awesome.
Oh, obviously, he's talking about young legends. He must be talking about Andy McMillan, who joins us. He is a 5-time Baja 1000 champion. He's had some pretty illustrious partners along the way, but the magic might be in having Andy McMillan, which we'll talk about a little bit later since he snubbed us, since we tried to get him going all the way back to January. I'm just saying out loud that this is how I feel about it. But he has one with Rob McCachran. He has one with Rob Gordon. So maybe the problem was my name's not Rob, but we do have a teammate named Ryan. It seemed like it was a logical fit, right, Jose G?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the show, Andy. We're stoked to have you. One of the preeminent forces in our sport, great personality, and a trivia master. Everybody on Fishgistics right now, if you want to send trivia questions, do it because we're going to test Andy's skill in this hour of content. We're going to have some fun. And of course, my co-host, my partner, my boss, Austin Fish Farner, also known as Fishy. Hey, Fish, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, thanks for coming, you guys. It's awesome. We got another exciting race in 1 week, and it's cool to learn about the course. We got Jose G designing the course. So any questions about the course between him and the two of you that probably between you and Andy know every mile of every piece of the Baja Peninsula ever. So what more could you get, right?
I figured there had to be some specific reason why I was invited today, because I was thinking back, it's been a while since I've even been on Fishgistics. Has to do probably with my dry spell of not being close to the podium, which typically you invite the top 1, 2, 3 guys from the top classes.
Correct.
So I feel honored and privileged to be back on the show. So I appreciate the invite, Fish.
Well, we had to have you come on the preview show. That way it didn't base your results, coming on the after show. It didn't
Yeah,
really
I like that. That's a good
Well,
perspective.
Yeah.
We wanted to have a good conversation too. Fish and I were talking about it. Obviously, this starts the Baja 1000. I mean, the entire year leads up to this reverse peninsula run. But now our qualifying positions, so to speak, where we finish this Baja 400, put us in our position for where we start the Baja 1000, which, as you guys know, didn't work out very good for the Desert Assassins, our team at the Baja 500. We ended up going home at mile 35 due to a rear accident or hitting the back of a truck. So you want to get good start positions. The Baja 400 is where it starts. And I think that, the content going into the Baja 1000 is very important. I wanted to say before we get started that please, everybody make good decisions, not just at the Baja 400, but at the Baja 1000. Make your plan so you have plenty of time to do everything. The number one most dangerous thing about the Baja 1000 is the highway. And you don't want to put yourself in a position trying to get to La Paz before the race in too big of a hurry. You want to make sure you know where the obstacles are on the highway. I'm just putting it out there that if anybody needs help or information, you can call me, probably call Fish. We can probably cover some of that stuff. We've been talking about doing some stuff with VP Racing Fuels to help out some of the drivers, but more time than you ever imagined is needed to get to all the different places. Would you agree, Andy?
100%. I mean, the highway, we've all been going down there a very long time. We know the risks involved with chasing the race, obviously a lot more dangerous than us in the race car with, 6-point harnesses and full tube chassis around us. But I will say it's not just the 2-lane highway you really got to be careful of. It's driving at night and the livestock. There's ranches and farms all over the Baja Peninsula. That's what it's made up of mostly. And sometimes those gates are left open, the cows get out, and those black cows on a black highway in the black dark of night in Baja, they come up on you really quick. So you really got to be on your toes. It's happened to me. It's happened to my cousins. It happens to everyone, not just further down south. I mean, all the way up through Ojos Negros, even prudent for this Baja 400. If you're getting done late and you're on your way back to town, just be very cautious and very aware of your surroundings at all time.
I think very well spoken, Andy. And the cows seem to come out for that warm road. They want to be out there where it's a little bit warmer after dark. It seems like. Jose, G, any thoughts on that topic as we're talking about it?
No, yeah, that's actually a great topic, but also extra careful on the access roads because you're very cautious on. So some of you are very cautious on the highway, but then you go in and take access roads at full speed, like if your chase truck was the race truck, and of course you want to get there fast to your team. And we've been having sometimes some accidents with chase teams with locals on access roads. So that's another place where people need to be really careful.
I think it's appropriate to say that we are a guest in someone else's country, and in this case, your country. Jose G, we're very blessed to be able to race both in the Western United States and in Mexico. Mexico's a quite a bit different thing, but everybody just needs to be respectful. And on that note, we're going to shift gears to the 400. But remember, when you're pre-running, not necessarily pre-racing. And I know that some of the people out there have a tendency to go a little too fast. Where there's speed zones during the race, you should adhere to those speed zones in pre-running. And you should be aware of where the ranchos are, and also that the ranchers have their livestock out, maybe even on race day. So anyway, enough scolding. We've scolded you enough. So we're going to move on to this Baja 400 race. Andy, your retirement was short-lived. Welcome back.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Keep trying to tell everyone I didn't really retire.
I'm with you.
That I'm not going to have my own truck and my own team and all that kind of stuff, which I guess you could take that as retiring, but I'm open to driving opportunities. So I'm excited to team back up with Bryce, race his second truck at the 400, which is an incredible opportunity him and his family gave me to give us the best chance to try and get one of these Baja 1000s one of these years.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree. I'm sorry I said retirement. I know that sooner or later it'll come my way too, where I'll end up driving with other people. I've been owning my own trophy truck team for 20 years this year.
Wow.
Pretty crazy to think that my first trophy truck race was this month in 2004. That's crazy.
Was that with Pistol?
It was with no, it was in our own truck. Clyde Stout bought it as a pre-runner. We got rear-ended at the Baja 500 in our 1600 car while leading the championship, took us out of the race. And we were like, well, when we go to Prim, what are we going to do? And Clyde's all, we're going to race the trophy spec or whatever we call it. What do we call it?
Trophy truck.
And it was awesome for about 14 miles. We drove it like a 1600 car, but quickly realized it wasn't going to last like a 1600 car. So it's been a long learning curve, but it's amazing to have this opportunity to keep doing it. So I'm stoked that you are racing, Andy. It's great to have the best of the best. And I wish you were with our team. We did make a play for you, and I totally respect your decision. And I think there's a lot of great teams coming together. Ryan and I are excited to race together. And I think overall it's going to be a pretty interesting Baja 1000. Let's talk about this 400. You got a map there, fishy?
Yeah, we can bring up the course and talk about it. So here you go.
We can do that.
There you go.
That's so small.
All right, we're zooming in. Is it better now?
More or less. I like it. Hey, so I think let's talk a little bit about this right at the start, Jose G. This is your department. There's no pre-running before Ojos Negros, and there's no pre-running hauling ass getting to the pre-run course. This road through Tres Hermanos, you have done an excellent job at trying to get us off of it as much as possible, but we still are on it, especially to the access. But people need to know that you gotta really pay attention in here and take it easy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the sections that worries us the most, because that's when you go in, it's right now it's an access road to start your pre-run, and also it's the same access road to get you to the highway after you finish your pre-run. So you can expect the both-way traffic, and that's the main spot that we have accidents. People like on the second 90-degree turn there on the dirt, we've had accidents, we've had pre-runners roll. There's no reason for that. I mean, I don't know why people would, and they still do it. Hopefully they stop doing it. We do not want accidents. You're very safe in a race car, but remember, there's people and the locals do not drive a race car. They don't have a roll cage. They don't have seat belts. So just be really careful. There's like 20 people sometimes jammed in one car. So just keep that in mind.
And to add right there too, there's about 4 blind rises on this access road getting to where the pre-run starts. And I know when I approach those, I always slow way down, move off to the right-hand side as far as I can. Yeah. So maybe if everyone watching this, just take it for what it is, move way off to the right, roll those things really slow, because, pre-runners and chase vehicles want to be coming 2 ways on that road.
And this says end speed zone right here, but this is not for your chase and pre-run end speed zone. This is for during the race. So before the race, you want to be going speeds, slow all the way through this zone.
Yeah. Where does the pre-run actually start, Jose G? At the river, at the Rancho?
Yeah, right at the gate at Rancho El Mezcal. That's where it's so you can start at the metal gate and then end at the opening at the fence that we have there. So from the highway to that spot, you just have to cruise and be careful.
I think being careful all the time is a good idea. This is traditional start area. Of course, back in the older days, we used to stay right on this road, which I would call the Tres Hermanos road. I don't know what you would call it, Andy. Jose G, you probably know the proper road. But like I said, we're blessed to be able to race off the side of it, which I think is a little bit more challenging. There are some big holes along the way, so pay attention, please.
I did notice, sorry to interrupt, Cam, but I did notice that at the 500 this year, starting at the 500 this year, we actually stay on the big Tres Hermanos road for longer, heading south. Instead, up here in the middle of the screen, after you cross that river crossing, we used to make a left and take the road over there off to the right.
Yeah, that's correct.
So we're staying on it a bit longer and getting us through that one section around that Rancho access on that east side, Jose G, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, just the landowner decided, and it's very true. I mean, we fixed the roads after the race, so it's not a problem. And by running new trails or trying to avoid the main road, we're totally stepping on his grass, and that's the food for his cows. So yeah, it's better for him actually that for us that we stay on the main road in that section.
So we are on the main road. I can see here through race mile 40. Are we staying on the main road all the way down to the Tracer Mountain? Here's where we jump off here. What
Yes.
has been that second road crossing area?
Yep, that's correct. Just a little bit on what we call also the Tres Hermanos Road.
At least I had that name right.
Yeah.
And then through these sidelines, side area here, and then back down and cross the road, Jose G, is that what I'm seeing?
Yep. Yeah. You just cross it once and then you cross it again and to get back to and head over to kilometer 77.
Copy. And that brings us down into this area. There's some tricky little spots. There are some blind ranchos in there, you guys. Everybody be careful of local traffic. Pre-run respectfully. This spot right here always shocks me when you come up right alongside their fence and the dogs are barking or the chickens are clucking right there. You're like, yikes, we're right here in their backyard. So take it easy, everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone watch your speed when you're driving by the ranches. You know, that's their land. They're allowing us to race through there. Obviously on race day, you know, they don't care about the dust, but let's just try to be respectful, going by people's properties and fully dusting them out on the pre-runs when it's not necessary.
And this ping pongs you along. I agree, Andy. This ping pongs you along this wash. Some of the straighter lines, some of the options there. Coming back across, actually brings you in a little bit of a different trajectory up this other arroyo to cross the Tres Hermanos Road again. It looks like race mile 45. Am I still there?
Yep. Yeah, you are. You're doing pretty good.
It was 45 right there where you cross it. Right there.
You know what you're saying. You're pretty good.
I'm decent. So, you know, this is a section that we've raced a bunch of different routes in. There's a lot of different types of areas you can see here in the arroyo. There's some next to the arroyo. You're going to cut across the arroyo, watch for the drop-offs. I mean, use your brains pre-running, use your brains when you're crossing the bigger roads. The locals do not make roads to nowhere. Have you guys ever heard that before? That's a saying that I like to use. So every road, no matter how small it is going to someone's ranch, farm, or property. So there's some kind of access being used there.
And Jose, just to clarify on the VCPs, what is the distance that you have to hit a VCP within?
The normal ones, the ones that do not have a letter, the numbered ones are 120 feet.
Okay.
And
so there's that 60 feet to each side of it, basically?
120.
120 to each side.
120 radius. So you have good buffer zone then there so that you can hit it. And the lettered ones are 40 feet only, because those are the ones that we put to where we really don't want, we really want to keep you on the race course.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
now we're
those are up to K71 access.
This is a pretty traditional area. We've raced in here many, many times over the years. Fun racing. You got to watch yourself a little bit, but there's definitely some good stuff in here. And race mile 50.
Yep, right here.
Junctioning out. Is this this is the same bottom turn coming into it from a different direction, right, Jose G?
What was the question?
It's the same turn we've been using there at race mile 50, just coming at it a little
Yeah,
different.
we didn't use that road for the 500, but yes, that's when we take that road, that's exactly the same one.
Okay. And then that's going to junction us off onto the road that's going to head us out towards K77 access as we move along here. There's some big ass holes in here. They are marked. Jose G, this Danger 4, is this the one you can't see that was made famous in Dust of Glory?
That's a backbreaker. If you're going too fast, that you're going to bottom out the G out there. And I actually saw a guy years ago. I was racing, and in a class 12, he had a broken back in that same one. So we always mark it pretty good, and hopefully everyone knows it's there, and they slow down a bit.
So is that it, right? Is that danger there?
Yeah.
That class 12 driver is my partner at Baja HQ. Just so
really,
so we're clear about that. Yeah, my partner Brandon Purick was right in the dust there. Someone
I think it happened to two of them.
It was
team race. Vic Bruckman was the other one, and then Brandon. Yeah,
it's a sketchy hole. You can't see the other side of it. Well, there's a few big ones in there. So let me just suggest that you pay attention to what you're doing pre-running. Don't race that blind. And then moving on, we're going to keep on trucking, get us out to some of the ranch roads. Big ranch road here, if I'm not mistaken, at race mile 55, making the right turn down through some traditional stuff, through the bit of trees, get bigger in there. Pay attention to what you're getting involved in. There is another tricky big rock spot. Is that zigzag through that rock spot, Jose G? I didn't look at this section exactly tight.
That's totally correct.
So watch out. When you see one on one side, there's one probably on the other side too. That puts us on, it looks like we're getting on the road this time, headed out to K77.
Yeah, this is basically the K71 access.
Oh, 71 road. Sorry. Yeah, this is the big road at K71.
Yeah.
And that's where these VCPs of 40 feet, for some reason, I thought we jumped ahead one segment. This is where we're trying to get off of the K71 access, 40 foot from these VCPs. And this turns into some lovely dog crap right there in those zigzags by those short radius VCPs, Jose G. Thank you for that.
No, you're welcome.
I think it's important for everyone to know too, there's a reason why Jose G put these VCPs with letters with 40 feet next to them. It's because he wants you to stay off of K71 access road. He doesn't want you zigzagging out and coming back onto the track. Like you can see some of these little lines have formed in here on the Google view. He wants you off that road.
Yeah,
So
this view's actually pretty updated too, because this view says it's from December of last year, so it's not that old. So this is after the Baja 1000 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So is that obviously stay on the race course where the VCPs are tightened up. I love it in here. This is some fun racing, some interesting little zone. Lots of spectators in this area. Be cautious. The right turn into one of those. Every time I turn right here, Andy, I don't know about you, but I think about like the old days racing my 1600 car through here, like just the battles that went on and how this particular route and the route right next to it there's a lot of similarities to stuff and actual routes that we've been racing for so many years. Great history in our sport.
I think back to the 03 Baja 1000, the Dust of Glory 1000, my first time racing in class 1. I was chasing Mike Jolson's car with Bob Lofton in here driving, and there's an in-car shot of me hitting him, and it was right here in this sandwash. It was pretty good times. Although I took him out of the race, so that wasn't great learning moment, but
not intentionally, right?
No, I was just nerfing him. I just had no idea, my momentum and how hard you could hit people because I hadn't really done it before. So,
well, actually, Andy, my neck still hurts from one of those. I was riding in a trophy truck that you hit, and that was pretty hard.
Really?
Right before 70. You might remember that one.
Right before where?
Right before kilometer 77. I can't remember 2007. I can't remember the year exactly. I was
riding with Roger.
Yeah. in Mighty Mouse. That was hard.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was a really hard hit.
Yeah, I know. Still feel it.
And you know what? I was accelerating on a straightaway, and we were concentrating on your rear bumper because we were following you guys for a while, and your helicopter was above you.
Yeah.
And we thought the people in the helicopter were waving at us, but I think they're waving at you. And we got on this straightaway, and I had my momentum, and I was just going. And then Roger slammed on his brakes to make a hard left, and there was like a rock pile, and there was no way I was stopping. Luckily, your rear tires helped stop me.
I know
I felt really bad about that one.
Yeah, it was funny.
Probably not at the time.
Not at the time. I'm sure it wasn't very funny at that time.
Good thing Jose wasn't in charge then, or you probably would have been DQ'd that race, huh?
100%.
Racing along this wash is a good time. This is where some more of those rock outcroppings will pop up, and this is a different section we started running. When did we start running this cut over here, Jose G?
Well, a few years ago, I mean, that the Ejido partialed out. I mean, now there's a bunch of owners, bunch of fences. So that's the way they're letting us race, which is fine. I mean, a little bit more technical, but it's at least it's open for us. I like it.
I like it too. I think it's good. I think it's a good racing spot. That gets us out to the gate at K77. Speed zone starts. You guys remember pre-running and racing, there will be a lot of people around. We'll jump down here. We call this the Honda House, where you get off the road. It's one of the local Ejidos Salon Social. But they're nice enough to let us race here, going off on the graded road and then turn right into the Yummy Yum Yums. And I see, is that VCP Andy McMillan already right there?
Put there for a reason, I'm sure.
Yeah, 31 going through there. There's some tight, lots of little trees around there.
Yeah, last year with the rain at the 400, this was all sludge and mud puddles and nasty in there right before the race. I remember that.
It actually turned out to be a pretty good race course. We ended up losing a brake line coming up right here, but we still had a good race. I think we finished 6th or 7th.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we had to change the brake line, cross the wash. This is some of that back country, not quite down towards Independencia, but there's a lot of good zigzagging going around up here. Watch for farm traffic. Some of these little side roads that we're on are pretty tight. It's a good fun trophy truck racing. I'm sure for everybody trying to keep it on the road and not collect any bushes or rocks. That is, it's good fun stuff. I see a danger marker up there at the top, but this loops down towards Independencia, comes back up, and then loops us back out towards some. We cross what is known as traditional race course. I'm not sure what that area is, but I always love that part of the race course there. I can miss running it, but I understand getting off of that and getting on the smaller roads is definitely better. I agree with that move, Jose G, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, also there's a bunch of new owners. We have some options there. We play around, we switch it around, and but it's all fun. I mean, it's more challenging, of course. It's not so fast, but to me, I think the technical driving part is super exciting.
For sure, it adds some miles too. We don't go all the way up and around the mountain, correct? We go up to the base of it.
Yeah, correct.
Open that up, Fish. Let's move forward. Again, this is all real similar type stuff. I like it because it's different and it's not something we've been racing for a bunch of years. I miss some of those big roads, but I like this better for racing.
Up here at VCP 36, that's where we jump in that wash that heads to the new summit we have been racing. And I noticed that this is a newer route, I think, after VCP 37 that I couldn't find in my previous GPS files.
I think we raced it at the 1,000 last year and at the 400 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for sure. We've used it at least twice.
That's the right turn where,
in my notes at the 400, it was further to the east last year. We raced the road. If you zoom out a little bit, Fish.
Yeah, I know it's a 90 out too.
It's the next one to the right. That was on my 400 notes.
Oh yeah, there it is. Gotcha.
Up here at the
Uh-huh.
top.
Yeah, that one was super nasty, tight, technical, bushes hanging over. That was gnarly in through there.
I didn't have brakes right there. It was sketch.
And it looks like the section down here past VCP 38, it gets really tight and technical and hairpins and stuff too.
Yeah, it looks every bit as nasty in person as it does right here on the GPS. But we raced this last year at the 1,000, Jose G.
No, we actually did I think we did the top loop one. This one actually has a new I think it has a new section, a new portion of it. It's new, and we're just trying to mix it up a little bit so that like Andy said, well, I already have the notes. Well, every time we change it up, it forces you to do your homework again.
Mm-hmm.
Good call, Andy.
Yeah, this looks like it's really tight through here.
Yeah, it's technical.
Yeah.
Have we which race did we use this on, Jose G? This is that wash that we got on. Not a wash. Is it a wash?
No, that section is I probably the first time that we've used it, a little bit of that one.
Yeah.
Fun.
It ties back in further down. But
It's
I
kind
know
of parallel to the other one that you guys have used up here,
Correct.
basically.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it gets back together right here. So there's probably the
Correct.
same from here.
Yeah.
Anyway, in those new sections, always watch out for something you're not expecting, and the trees and the bushes have not been trimmed, and the rocks certainly haven't been moved. So heads up on that. Heading back down towards this is the back of Independencia area. Yes. Is
Yes.
that that's the access road there to the mission site, Santa
Yep.
Catarina?
Yeah, that's correct. You cross the concrete road right there, right before Santa Catarina.
The mission ruins there aren't much to see, but they are there. I don't know if anybody else has been out there, but I went out there and walked around and I was like, I don't see much.
we haven't used this little section very much in the past, from like BCP 43 all the way down to like DCP at the bottom of the screen 50 maybe. Like 2016 500, 2019 500, we've kind of used pieces of this when I went back on my notes, but I remember this being pretty fun sections in here.
It is.
And I like the addition of, instead of going straight across from VCP Kurt Leduc 43 straight across. I like that. I like the added zigzag and fun of it. What's that look like up there, Jose G? More of
It's
the
I like it. I mean, I'm there constantly, you know, well, with I get to play like the local races and things like that. So I love that that area, Santa Catarina area. I love those trails. It's just the trails that I like driving.
Yeah, they're like fun 2-track, semi-smooth, like kind of old Baja style roads from
Yeah.
what I remember. It's really fun.
Yeah, and it's kind of, the dust is not so bad for passing. I mean, I don't know. I just like that area.
And just every once in a while, there's a immediate turnover rise. Heads up. That's going to take us back down. Now we're actually in the outskirts of Independencia, making that looks like a lot of VCPs there, keeping you right on the race course. The spot you're looking at there, unfortunately, is where Kurt passed away in 2013. Race course goes through the side of those that tree grove.
Yeah, we haven't raced that much in the past
Correct.
4 or 5 years probably either.
Yep.
Yeah, there is a new fence in there. It goes parallel to the race course, though. You do have to go through one gate in there going across that wash, Jose G.
No, it's not there anymore. I
Oh, it's
believe.
not? That brings you up into some of that, what we would call I would call the highland area. This is kind of getting towards Nuevo Junction, an old name for a place that we used to intersect and access. I don't even think you can access the race course from the highway at that point anymore. it's all closed up, but there's definitely some fast stuff and some scary stuff. So make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing out there. And this brings you, that crosses the road at the Hamu Road crossing. Coming there, watch for spectators, of course, somewhere right there. Yep. And unfortunately, there's a marker there for someone that passed away. Watch yourself on the side of the race course. There's a giant boulder as big as a car sitting there. So heads up for that.
My ex-co-driver and my ex-truck that hit that road.
Really? Dang, I'm sorry to hear that, Jose G. I hate when you're driving around out there and you see the markers and stuff, but it is great that people are paying respects to those that have passed, but it sucks that people have those accidents. And that's just like a huge boulder, huh? I mean, just like if you're just slightly offline, it's like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Sorry for your loss, bud.
No.
This takes you, there's a big danger here. You can see, I'm not exact. That's the pinch rock. Is that the pinch rock?
That's the rock when you're going to the wash. And if you're going too fast, you definitely have to slow down and maneuver around it. So
it's a lovely little section. Don't get yourself bunched up in the sand. And then there's this super fun section that Jose G came up with not too long ago, which is like I want to say it's a 4 mile out and back, 2 miles up, 2 miles back, but it's definitely changed the race face and gotten us off that local road, which I really appreciate. Yeah. Jose. So I like your ingenuity for that. It does get a little tiresome sometimes pre-running that like 8 times a race.
Yeah, but you don't have any head-ons, and there's no one in the so we're just always trying to make it different fun, but stay on the safe side.
Safer is better always, and I commend you for that. I really, one of the things I love the most about your tenure that you've been with SCORE is your ability to change it up and come up with different race courses and throw different looks at it. That makes everybody think a little bit. I like it. At VCP 52, you do get on to what's traditionally the bigger road. There is a ranch or two in there that are accessing that, race mile 115. Then you'll make a left turn, and that's going to put you on to eventually what's known as the Goat Trail. It's I believe it started life as the access for all of the poles in there. I don't think anybody's ever accessed it in the last 20 years in any kind of conventional vehicle. And the Goat Trail dropping down to the highway, of course, has its share of stories from people over driving, flipping over onto it, coming off of it, acting crazy. So I would suggest taming yourself just slightly before you get on the highway there, huh, Andy?
Before you get to the bottom, there's a little ditch washout on the right. Following my grandpa down that one year in his class 1 buggy on a pre-run, he got distracted looking at traffic and ventured off a little bit, went off the side of the Goat Trail right there, ended up on his lid in oncoming traffic lane. There was a big semi coming. It was closed. It was sketchy. So, be careful. Always keep your eyes on the road because it happens to the best of them.
It can happen to off-road racing royalty like Corky McMillan. It can happen to anybody. And we sure miss your grandpa. What a great guy he was. Brings you into Valle Trinidad. There's PMEX there, 2 of them. Down in the middle of town, there is a taco stand everybody seems to love, which we love as well. You're going to stay on the highway though. So if you need services, there are services and cell phone service in Valle Trinidad. You're going to go by BFG Pit 1, which is, I believe, going to be on the outside of this turn. I was going to try to remember the exact K marker, but I don't want to say it because I could be wrong.
Nate is in the chat here, so maybe he can reply with it. So Nate, what kilometer is this at? We'll see what he says. It might take him a minute. He said they moved the rocks on the right next to the giant rock, so it's way easier now. Is that coming down the Goat Trail that he's talking about?
I think he might. Is he talking about the pinch rock just above it, or is he talking about the ones on the Goat Trail?
He's talking about the Goat Trail.
Okay.
On the highway, when you're pre-running, I know when you're racing, you're going to be watching yourself. Please do the same when you're pre-running. That's going to take you to the legendary, if I'm not mistaken, start of the Mike's Road.
Yep.
I will say that a lot of people want to pit here. So just beware when you're making your pit plan. If you are planning on pitting somewhere right at this junction, probably be aware that you might not be the only person there.
Yeah, and also pre-running, extra careful. There's a bunch of washouts on that road after the rain.
And there's a lot of two-way traffic on this road sometimes. A lot of people coming down from Mike's. So this is not a good road to see how fast you can go up on and try and beat Robbie Gordon or Reese Millen's time or whatever when they did that shootout thing. Or Bryce, with whoever it was.
Literally every corner, every rise, you got to almost come to a stop and inch your way around it and just be extra careful because people are coming up and down from Mike's Sky Ranch. A lot of pre-runners are staying up there in the middle of their pre-run, and then their guys are coming back down the next morning. So very, very dangerous road.
One of the two places that I've had a head on in my career in Baja is on the Mike's Road. Almost two Mikes coming over one of those blind rises. I was being careful to the right. Obviously not careful enough. I had a head on with an F350 in my pre-run buggy. So definitely not good. It can happen to anybody at any time. So just cool your jets. You're going to get on that road. It's fast. It's slippery. It's sandstony. There are some surprise dropaways. I would caution you to be careful. There is a section where they get us off of the main road, follow the course and the VCPs, and you shouldn't have any problem there. There is one section I wanted to mention, Jose G, where they don't want you to stay on the road. There's a little bit of a jog off to the right before the 6 mile clearing. That's correct, right?
Yes.
This thing right here, maybe?
That's the jog before. This is where a couple people lost their Baja races because they missed this VCP. So this is so you don't go over a blind rise into oncoming traffic. You go off to the side, but there's one a little further up towards Mike's, I believe, where right here. Is it San Javier Ranch, or this is the ranch with all the beer cans on the bushes, right, on the cactus? So you get off, and there is a I think Fishgistics, you posted a picture of not running over their little makeshift bridge that they made there. Is that the same spot, Jose G?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay, so just be aware that you're on a big graded road and it sure looks awesome. There's going to be a giant washout, and then they want you off to the right for a little bit. It's a really good off to the right idea. It's a little bit more rough, but man, on that main part of the road right there is really hard to see oncoming traffic. So just be aware to get off to the side. That's going to bring you up to what I call the 6 mile junction. You're 6 miles from Mike's, or more or less. I don't know where we came up with that or who came up with that. So then you're going to start racing up towards Mike's. It gets a little bit more slippery, a little more rocky at times, a little bit more dropaways. And then, of course, the legendary Mike's Sky Rancho. We were blessed as a family to actually race against Mike Leone and his family in 5/1600 back in the 80s. Pretty cool. But it's a great little place you can spend the night. You can reach out to them. They don't have a phone, so to speak, up there, but you can make reservations. But if you go up there, I would always say go with the direction of the traffic. I am not a fan of staying up there on a race course like this where people are coming down opposing traffic. So just heads up. One of the sketchiest spots on the race course at race mile 150. Andy, how do you like racing along that cliff on that side hill there? That one over rise slight left. Oh boy.
Left, right up there. It's I hate it every time I go up it. You know, your mind always goes to the worst case scenario. And as soon as you make it to the top of that hill, I'm like, oh, thank God. Let's go racing now. Because I'm like, there's rocks, it's nasty. And what everyone has to be really careful of is the rocks on the inside of the mountain, the cliffs on the right. You got to be worried about hugging the inside too much, because you could ping off a rock there and it could push your front right toward the edge. And that goes through my mind constantly going through that section.
And if somebody breaks right here, that's a log jam, right? There's nowhere to go around them here.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, Impudia actually got stuck up here on the uphill after the concrete patch on the U-turn on the left side of the screen over there. At the first Baja 400 in 2019, that was an interesting scenario.
No bueno. That's going to take you into the pop rocks. This is a super rocky technical section past that summit. That's going to bring you to VCP 66. Love you, Kurt Caselli. And take you right down into one of those legendary spots. I can tell the story time after time of watching people float their Volkswagens across the Simpsons River. with the doors open. So it is a pretty interesting downhill in there. Everybody take it easy the first time you see it, especially, but it's a little tricky. Then you'll come down to the river crossing. If there's no weather, I wouldn't expect a lot of water, but there usually is some water there. And on the other side, believe it or not, the road gets a little bit better. And yeah, you start trucking down the mountain. Andy, I'm sure you have some good stories about racing down this section here.
You know what? When I think of Simpsons, I think of in 2005 at the 500, we actually raced up Simpsons, and the rock is gone now. But about halfway up that hill, at the back, actually further down toward Rancho Simpson, right at the start, there was a really narrow notch, and there was a huge boulder right in the right side of the course. I think Scott Steinberger hit it.
Made it famous in the video, right?
Yeah, I think it was on video too. It was. So every time I think of this, I'm like, hey, at least we're going down it. Momentum's going down. We're going downhill. But after Rancho Simpson, the road gets good. And be careful. There's some gotchas on this road. Really some things that'll jump out and catch you by surprise. Your momentum's going downhill. So just be careful.
That right there, right at the bottom of the screen, the slight left into the hole, the right turn. So yeah, heads up in there. There's definitely some tricky spots coming down, kind of down a side hill, so to speak. That's going to bring us down into a less friendly section that's been more recently started to being used, where you're going to go. First of all, you go around the graded road, then you're going to turn left across the arroyo, back on the backside of this ranch. There's some picking your way through here, Jose G. This is we've used this maybe a few times. If I'm not mistaken, we used part of this in the Baja 1000.
We've used it, but it's all burned in now. It's not like the first time that you couldn't see the road. I love that section actually, and the road after it, the graded road that goes to Leandro Valle is just beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, you guys. Everybody, take it easy. It's remote. You don't want to make a mistake out here because no one's coming to help you. There's no way to get out there and support your team.
From VCP 72 up to like race mile 165 up there, there's some treacherous rocks poking out, some big ditches in there. It'll catch you off guard really quick if you're trying to be a hero in there. So just, like I keep saying, be careful, I guess.
Yes, we keep giving the same message, but the funny part is no one listens. But we'll say it anyway. Brings you down to is there a rancho down there, right? In this area where the VCPs are. You race down through the mountain some more. And that's going to bring you down into the back to the main road that comes down out of Mike's.
I think you might want to point out that down there at VCP 76 and 77.
Yeah.
Actually,
this is different this year.
Oh, sorry. No, it's not there. It's further down. It's further down towards Valley T.
Make sure you guys pay attention there. That there's a couple different ways to do that right there. And then after that, beware of what's known as
that Andy's talking about.
Say that again.
That's the spot I think that Andy was talking about. We're not taking the shortcut down the mountain. We're actually staying on the main road and then dropping down into the wash. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Yeah.
That is different. And does that take us so we bypass Walker's Corner or no?
No, but at that point you already passed it.
Yeah,
this is the last big shortcut on the left down the hill, Cameron.
Yeah.
And sometimes Jose G would put a VCP over there to keep us over there. But this is right toward the bottom of the big road, right before Valley T. We're gonna run the wash now on the east side of the big road.
Who would ever be down in that wash before? We've ridden our dirt bikes around in there when we're not racing occasionally. That's going to take us back through alongside. There's going to be a lot of people here, you guys. Heads up, okay? Be careful in here. You cross at VCP. Is that Luke McMillan? Yep. 83. And that's going to take you into this back section behind Valle Trinidad. And please be careful. There is a mound out there, a hill. You want to make sure your tires are on the ground at all times.
It looks like a good jump, but it's not.
I don't even say the J word just in case someone misinterprets it. It's keep your tires on the ground, donkeys.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's been a few people over the years that did not keep their tires on the ground.
They kept their front bumper in the ground.
True. It's the sudden stops that don't feel good, generally speaking.
And for the people who are newer, when there's a bunch of fans next to a jump and they're going like this, trying to
Don't
get you to jump it, that's typically when you don't want to jump, especially.
The learned experience of Baja. That's going to take you down to next to the ranches there. You'll turn left onto very tight, small pole access road, race mile 190. You'll cross at what I call the grassy knoll. It's a grassy area here at the top of the crossover road, or the Calentura road as it's known. Cross there, and that's going to get you into a super fun section of tightness, rocks, trees, bushes, overrise turns, and all kinds of chaos before you get back onto the crossover road. Now, if you watched our ESPN TV show, Rip to Cabo, you'll notice that one of our moto riders nearly had a head on the trail, had to duck it down and smash his head on the ground. Everybody just be super careful, take it easy. People live and work and access Valle Trinidad by this road. There is a reason there is a big graded road here that you could drive on pretty quick in the race. Please don't be a jackass. This is a dangerous spot in the race course for pre-running. Nice and easy around the corners. Let's not make stupid. And yeah.
Why are you zooming in there, Fish?
Oh, it just looks weird right here. Kind of looks like you go straight or something right here, but you don't.
Hey guys, just so you know, there's a really hard right turn right here with a bank on the outside.
Ouch.
You want to make the turn.
Yeah. How long ago was that, Andy? 4 years now?
That was the 421.
21, yeah.
See,
I
if you
think-
zoom out a little bit, you can see that when you're coming from right to left. So I was following Rick Johnson, another Mason truck, and I thought I was right behind him. And so I was coming down this road. I saw his dust up here after the horseshoe, and me and my co-writer were talking about something, or he couldn't really hear me or something. So I was coming into it thinking I was just kind of veering left, and little did I know it was going 90 right at about 90 miles an hour.
How fast?
Probably around 90.
No bueno. I'm glad you're all right, buddy. That's where they changed the landmark too. If you zoom in right there, Fish, on that right turn, you can see these 3 pieces of concrete. There used to be a big tank, a big rusted tank right there, which was kind of a tell for the turn. They took that out a few years ago for scrap metal, and it left that tell not being there anymore. For those of us that have been around for too many decades and remember that kind of crap before there was a GPS.
All right, we got to zoom back out. All right, keep going.
Okay, we're going. We're down the Calentura Road, the crossover road. Don't act like a dipshit. Sorry. Expect the unexpected.
Out to the highway.
There's going to be some VCPs down here because the race car drivers are donkeys and they don't like to pay attention to staying on the race course. So there's some VCPs. That's going to turn you on to the highway. This is Highway 1, the Trans-Peninsula Highway, which goes between Tijuana and La Paz, technically speaking.
60 mile an hour.
Is it a 60 zone, Jose G?
Yeah, it is.
And
60.
let's refresh everybody's memories. What is the pit distance? How far off the highway do you have to be? And you have to be only on the right side of the highway to pit. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Only on the right side on highways, of course. We always say at least 30 feet off, but we know you can't. But like, I'm going to use your word, don't be a donkey. I mean, don't pit a foot away. I mean, some people want to have like their tires right next to the asphalt. So that can get you in trouble, and also it's super dangerous. So completely off the highway, that's the best you can do.
I would also suggest that
It's basically use your head, right? I mean, if you got to change a left rear tire, you don't want that guy's back touching the side of the highway when there's other race cars and semis coming down. So just be smart and use your head. And if it's too tight, it's too tight, and find somewhere else.
Yeah.
Agree. And at some point we might want to start taking videos to out people that do stupid stuff and start putting them on Fishgistics so that we can make sure the community is doing it.
Yeah.
This section here, it looks like we're going to go off to the left and go under the bridge. Is that correct, Jose G?
Yeah, actually, we had it going off to the right because you can right there at the Hilo building and drop down after the corral. But we're racing on the September 16th, which is the big holiday for us. So there's going to be an Hilo party there. So keep that in mind if you're trying to pit there or planning on pitting. It's going to be packed with people. That's why we changed it up and exiting to the left, which we don't love, but we had to do that change because of that event that's going on that day.
That event that's going on that day happens to be the Mexican Independence Day, the 16th, and we happen to be number 16. So just keep that in your mind, Andy McMillan. You're going to go off to the left, and the speed zone continues along the highway. Please tell your chase crews not to bunch this area up. There's going to be enough traffic here. I know that my team and everybody else's team probably won't listen to me, but I did want to mention when you access this tunnel at this angle from end speed zone, that right turn is a lot harder than you think it is. And occasionally there's some crap that's been thrown out off the highway. There was a pole there. There is a pole on the left side where it shows you apexing the turn there. So when you pre-run, take a good look around because you might get there in the dust, and just everybody take it easy because the wall of that tunnel is pretty tough.
It'll win.
It will win. I wanted to say, Jose G, I thought this was a great race course change. I don't know if it's the first time we've done it because I don't always race this section, but when I raced this section right here after VCP 98, in the past, we had gone the other direction, and I would always kind of slow down past the cemetery, obviously when we're pre-running and racing, but this goes around at this time to VCP 99. Is that the first time we've done that?
It's the first time. Yeah, we're showing them a lot of respect by not racing through the cemetery, and especially on September 16th, of course.
And there's a lot of discussion, when you talk about, I always say go slow past the cemeteries, and like people I talk to sometimes, the locals are like, well, my dad loved the races, and why wouldn't he want you to haul ass past the cemetery? I'm like, okay, you got a good point there, but I like to take it nice and respectful. Anyway, we're going around, and that's going to junction us up to this route that has become a bermed in 2-track maniac show for unlimited trucks. Be careful. People do tip over here. There are some surprise whoops and some surprise rocks, and also tons of coastal agave. They don't like to move when you hit them. Just saying. Agree?
I agree.
Brings you back down to where BFG pit number 2 is. If you're running on BFGs, you can use their pit service. We like to pit around them. They have a lot of good crew around there, fire extinguishers, a medic, comms,
everything,
all the good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff. And then this gets you on to the traditional road for a little bit. Then at VCP 106, you go over to what's been a silt hill at times. Sometimes there's been rain, so that takes you around the side of that. I will say for moto riders and race car drivers alike, right there at VCP 409, there's plenty of big rocks on both sides and right in the middle of the race course. I had never done this before, but last year pre-running this race, I decided to take a little bit different route. I always do the exact same thing, and I wanted to try something different. I heard the hit, and I was like, damn, that was a good hit. And then the truck wouldn't go anymore, and it like coasted to a stop. And I looked back in the side mirror, and I could see my drive shaft actually laying in the middle of the race course. I had never done that racing or pre-running in all these years of racing a live axle rear end truck. So it was pretty good. I got out and took pictures of it. I posted it online because I was so so surprised with my outstanding effort to be a complete mule. So anyway, be careful. There's a couple of rock sections in there. They will surprise you. That takes you up to VCP 110. This is like what I call the red dirt dog crap. It gets rough and crappy. It's been run for years. No one's ever graded it because there's really no reason for anybody to drive back and forth in there. So that whatever money Score spends there, they don't spend it on grading the road. Not Score, I mean the local ejidos or the ranchers or whatever. There's one rancher that owns a huge piece of property from the ocean up onto the top of the hill there, if I'm not mistaken. And they've never graded access in there as far as I can remember. Is that accurate, Jose G?
Yeah, and actually some people don't want you to fix the roads because there's
Right.
some bad going on, and you know what, just leave it like that, and then it's better for them.
Copy. VCP 112, there's a big dip there. You're going to turn left into what I always called Flat Tire Alley on the dirt bikes around the Cerro Solo. This is where the road Cerro Solo gets its name. It's like a old mini volcano thing sitting there all by itself, Solo, right? That's a pretty good translation.
That's exactly the translation. Yep.
Go down towards the coast, loop back around through the VCPs onto the Cerro Solo Road, making a right turn. And that's going to take you up on a pretty famous part of the race course. Watch that pre-running. That's the coastal access. People use that to go to the beach, including Rancho Santa Marta Orphanage and School, which is right there, which we support. If you guys have the opportunity to go to ranchosantamarta.org and do a donation, like a lot of the race community does around our Baja Beach Bash, please do it. They have kids living there and 250 kids bust in every day for school. Anyway, back to the race course. This section, we're on the graded road until VCP 118. And is that right at the gate? You go through the gate and make a left like we've done before?
For the gate.
Yeah, right before the gate.
You don't go through the gate.
Copy. Right before the gate. Make the left turn, start looping back through the fields. This is going to take you into what we call Mary Jane Canyon, and up to Up in Smoke. This whole hill burned maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and you can still see a lot of evidence of that. So we've ridden our dirt bikes around in here for years. Once upon a time, I don't know why, but they graded that back through after the fire, Jose. Do you have any idea why they regraded that?
No, I have no clue. I actually didn't, years ago, I didn't even know that road existed. So when I used to see it from a distance, so I went up and tried it out. There was a big boulder in the middle. I'm sure you rode around it. So we just moved it and we started using it. Awesome.
I think it's a good part of the race course. There's a couple hairy little sections there, and the drop down can be a little hair raising. So be careful. That brings you down alongside the farm fields. On the backside of the farm fields, there is another treacherous downhill going into the Arendia Wash. Be careful there. Sometimes big rain ruts down the wash.
A lot of people in here. A lot of people.
So many people.
Yeah.
So many people. It is absolutely insane. No beach.
And if you're going through there and you got a line marked, be ready for that line to be blocked on race day and to go an alternate way, because sometimes there's cars and people standing right in your line. Obviously, you're not going to go there. So just have alternate ways ready to go.
Interesting that you should say that, Mr. McMillan. I got a penalty from this guy on our screen, Jose G, one day because there was open lines in there. And when I got to the right, I was on the right side going the other direction from the beachway. So no one was there. I got into the line, which actually might even be the race course right now. But I got there and there was like 200 cars parked and I could not get back to where the VCP was. So I had to go out around the side and try to ping it back, but didn't want to go backwards on the race course. So I missed it by like 8 feet. And Jose G gave me a 10-minute penalty. I never forgave you for that, Jose G.
I know. I remember your words, but you missed it.
But
Jose doesn't play favorites. He doesn't care who you are. You're getting a penalty.
Yeah. Sorry.
Not very nice, Jose G. I say nice things about you too. Anyway, that no beach rocks. Are you bummed, Andy, or are you stoked?
There's a picture of me in my pre-run truck out there somewhere buried along this little section where it comes right out to the water. One year we went through there early in a pre-run and it was like, looked like a little, dry lake. And I just went across it at like 30 miles an hour and sank all the way up to the cab. It was gnarly.
I was in your third seat.
Oh yeah, you were with us. That was fun.
That's my picture.
Going over those rocks along the beach, and like you've seen guys go through them in the past, at 80 miles an hour, and I'm not one of those guys. Just so many bad things can happen. Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, when he won the 419, he came through there. I was like, holy crap.
So we're not going on the beach rocks. We're gonna stay up high past some of the old fields here. Fences on both sides. I will caution you pre-run.
Speed zone.
There is a speed zone here. I want to make a quick comment. When you come up to the Arendia Highway, put your on that hard left turn up there, Fish. Right there, that one. You cannot see either direction. There's a wall on both sides, specifically on your left. There's a big concrete wall. So if you're going to poke your nose out there, see how there's a car there right in the picture? There are cars traveling back and forth in there. Please do not just drive out into that. Stop and make sure you take a good look around, because that is a really tricky turn to make without being able to see. See, hanging around long enough, you'll figure out the stuff, right? And then there's a hard right turn right in front of a cliff. Don't mess that up, right, Andy?
No, I think Eugenio or someone one year went into the side of that wall coming the opposite way.
Yeah, right here.
And took out a good section of that wall.
I think it was Justin, right?
I think it was Justin. I think it was the Green Army truck, right?
Oh, was it?
I'm almost sure.
Yeah, I agree with Jose G, but that shot might have been up higher by the Coyote Cows too. This is all speed zone though, right?
Yep.
All speed zone. So no, don't get crazy. And yes, a speed zone, Jose G, correct me if I'm wrong. A speed zone is like one giant VCP, correct? You cannot deviate in the speed zone.
Yep. So yeah, don't take the shortcut over there on the left at the Coyote Cows. You have to stay on the race course.
Yeah, and that goes for all of them. This is a beautiful section of race course. How blessed are we to be able to pre-run and race right along the coast? If you've never been to Coyote Cows there, Rick and Ta have a hostel there. That's there's a couple different places you could stay there, but there happens to be a giant mural of Trophy Truck 16 on the side of the wall there at Coyote Cows. We're great friends with Rick. Interesting place to stay and great host if you need somewhere to stay out there. I didn't tell you it was there, but I did. Speed zone ends, but during pre-running, please don't act the fool. This is coastal area. The last couple days of pre-running, you will see tons and tons of people coming into camp, trailers, tents, all of it. Just
really good access in from San Tomas with surfers and spectators.
Yeah. And then
I'm trying to find the Jesse Jones spot. Is it right here somewhere?
It's on the other side of Arendia. We're not racing on it.
Okay. Never mind.
This takes you through Punta Cabras, and then this section right here where you see VCP is at I or L. There's many years ago, some of us used to go through here before instead of going on the road. But now it is the marked race course. There's a couple different options. Make sure you know where you're going before you get in there. The last couple races that we did this, these homeowners down here put a bunch of yellow ribbons out, I believe it was. So just beware. Last time they marked it so they didn't want you to go on the race course. They wanted you to go around some part. Just be aware that there might be some people down there with some monkey business on the race course. And this is called, I think, Long Beach here at just past the Cabros. Lots and lots of campers in here, you guys. Just heads up. Along the headlands, this is called Rancho Tampica. I didn't know this, but about 5 years ago, I found a shipwreck picture that there was a ship that was sank there called the Tampica, in case anybody's wondering why it's named that. Is that right, Jose G?
Yeah, that's correct. Beautiful spot.
Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. Be careful going along the coast. What's the Calavera Hill say? We're looking for it a little bit higher there. Fish, keep going north. Nope, north. I didn't look and see where the VCP was placed.
Oh, right here.
No,
Yeah, open.
So that's climbing out of Calavera.
So who's going right here?
Everyone,
yeah.
Yeah.
True story that in 2005, when SCORE rerouted the race course, we went up here instead of at the San Felipe race. We were leading the race and we never changed tires, and our tires were gone. We elected to go around the outside And as I came right to the top, Larry Ragland jumped right in front of me. And I'm sure he was like going, I can't believe he didn't know there was a shortcut there. And then later in life, I ended up telling him that the reason why I went there is because our tires were gone. We ended up having both tires come apart before we got to the finish line. I think Mark Post might have won that race or almost won that race.
07 Baja 250. That's when he got pulled out of the truck at the finish line.
Right. Yeah. He ended up
Before the
getting the
finish.
win, right? Did he end up getting
Before
the
the
win?
finish. No, before the finish. He didn't finish.
But they
Right.
gave him the win,
How
didn't
about-
they?
They gave it to him, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
they-
protested it, and they had it all filmed from the helicopter. So then they took his time. He was like a quarter mile. I was the next truck on the road behind Mark Post. I was actually leading, and I lost a serpentine belt on Santo Tomas Road, like 5 miles from the finish. Sore subject.
That's
And,
funny. I saw that video today on Facebook. I don't know who posted it, but it's funny that you're mentioning it. That I just saw it today again.
yeah, that was crazy.
All these crazy stories we have. And then that's going to bring you up away from the coast. And there's a couple turns in here that can be missed, more specifically the other way. But at VCP 126, Andy was mentioning this. This is where you get on the Punta San Jose Road or the Point Joe Road. Lots and lots of surfers. There's also a mysterious complex out there that the white vans drive in and out to. So be careful. There's a lot of traffic in here, very fast, good road, but you got to watch out for traffic pre-running. And there's a couple sketchy corners up here. Guys, beware. Don't go off the race course. Does that cover it pretty good for you, Andy?
Yeah, pretty good. Luke, in his first race in the Tisco truck in like 2013 500, they needed a driver, so they got Luke. In his first race, he was running like third, I think, doing really good, and he went off back a ways, one of those sharp hairpin right turns, and put the truck on its lid right there, about 295.
And they couldn't even see it, right? It was upside down so perfectly the helicopter couldn't even see it.
I think so, something like that. I wasn't racing at that time, but I remember something like that.
Too many stories. We could do a whole show just on Baja stories.
Yeah.
Did we get to the highway? Are we on the highway now?
Yep. The highway right here, Santo Tomas.
Right. Santa Tomas. There is mission
Speed
roads there too that you can't really see. Speed zone coming into town. Lots and lots of people. I was there, Andy, that year you almost won or should have won when Mark got arrested. Your dad got bit by a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Got the arm torn up, right?
Yeah, he did. Walking through there, going to the finish down there in the farm field.
Yeah, something. I saw him. I finished. I remember we finished like fourth on the road or third on the road. I don't remember what it was, but I saw him with his arm all bloody. I'm all, what in the hell happened? He's like, I got attacked by a dog. I was like, oh my God.
He was walking next to a fence, and the thing came through the barbed wire fence and just lashed onto his arm. It was nuts.
Insane. More stories. Okay, get on the highway. Don't act like a dummy. Keep cruising. If you want some services, you want some food, you want to hang out with cool people, Juanito, Marlon, the whole family in Europan here, Orapan at what's it called?
Aquamark.
Europan, Acambro. You can stop in there. They'll take care of you. There's bathrooms there too. Not much in the way of self-service. Good food, yeah. Get into the mountains. This is where it gets fun. You're at the end of the race and you're like, oh shit, they're doing this again. Stay on the race course. Watch out for the cliffs. It really, I mean, I'm just gonna say it is dog shit in some parts. Just beware what you know.
This is everyone's favorite section, Europan. What are you talking about?
I love it. You race down by the cemetery in there, and this is what we raced this. I remember one time there was all kinds of lines when Sal first did the penalty thing, and we were all scratching our heads. We got like 100 minutes and penalties in here. Anyway, those are the old days. Carry on through here. Lots of spectators, lots of interesting things to see, mountains, side hills, tricky stuff. This downhill at 330 down into the bottom here, sketch. Sometimes take it super easy down there. Is that the spot, Jose G? Is that where that turn is, or no? That's a different spot. That,
No,
133.
You're talking about where there's like an old sofa right there. That's a different spot.
Yeah, gotcha. Anyway, be careful. Don't be dumb. This is a fun little tricky zone to race in. You're starting to get back towards the Tres Hermanos Road and the outbound traffic. Remember, people have probably watched the race there in the morning and stayed all day having cool ones. So be careful coming back in. That's going to put you back onto the Tres Hermanos Road and head back to Ojos Negros.
That's where you end your pre-run.
Pre-runs. Don't be a jackass. It's hard for them, isn't it? It's hard for me. Are we coming back in that way, or you're not going to tell us?
No, I mean we're coming back the other way through my property there and crossing kilometer 33, but we're not going to open that until Friday because we can't have people there pre-running and us doing qualifying there. So
Right.
I think that the VCP 148 on accident left in there is kind of a dead giveaway.
Oh, that was a good giveaway right there. Yeah.
After 147.
So this is only going to be one direction on Friday, correct, Jose G? You're just gonna be able to come back in on it for pre-running
on Friday. Yeah, that's the inbound course. So there's no reason why to run it in a different way.
Yeah, but people can do it on Friday only before the race, right?
Yeah, only on Friday.
And when does pre-running open for the start? And that is only one direction also.
Only on Friday.
Okay, only on Friday.
And the start's going to be back here where it normally is behind Highway 3, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, since it's only one day, we try not to change anything and pretty much leave it the same. And since the 400, of course, it's shorter race for us, and we know that we have to split up the common course, the shared course, because we can have cars going out and bikes coming in at the same time. So we're pretty close there on time.
I think it's really important to note that on the course coming back in after VCP 148, it goes to a place up here that we call the Ojos Meadow. That, there's a big ditch in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And then there by the green spot is typically where we cross the highway and climb the hill to come back over. Right here on the left side of the screen, that's kind of the Ojos Meadow. You get in through a gate right there off the highway. And what I saw on the race schedule is on Friday, you can pre-run the start out to where the begin and end pre-run is. Then from there, you can make a U-turn and come back through VCP 148, all through here, climb up over this hill if you zoom out a little bit. Because in the past, there was some confusion on where they stopped coming back in toward the finish, and there were some close calls. So if you scroll up on your screen, and then off to the right a little bit. So the course basically gets on the highway right there and gets back off at the green arrow down there on the left. On the left, zoom back out. See that little green thing over there with Paso something?
That's the access up the hill. So are you asking if
the course usually comes back up that hill and goes back and meets the outbound? And that's where pre-running stops for the inbound back. You got to go back out through Ojos and back into Ensenada, not come backwards down the start where those meet up. It'll be easier if the GPS file is released.
If you put a sign there that says "Don't go this way, butthead," it might be more clear for them.
But they'll still do it.
They can't. Don't do it. There's people hot rodding in there. Just everybody take it easy. Do not go the wrong direction. Make sure you understand what you're allowed to pre-run and when you're allowed to pre-run it.
Yeah,
perfect.
Are we starting down at the main part of town, Jose G? Are we starting outside of town? What's the start?
Outside of town, we're still doing the parade start and the ceremonial start, and then the official start will be up on the highway again. We're working on the wash. We're trying to get it back in conditions, but the rain hasn't let us. And anyway, hopefully in the future we can. Some people don't like it. Some people want to have it back. I don't know. I think the way we're doing it, it's probably the best.
It's the cleanest.
Yeah, I mean it's very dangerous to me. I mean, it's dangerous to race through town, and like with all the water, you have sponsors. At the end of once you exit the wash in race mile 2 or 3, I mean, you already all of them. They're the brown car. You don't see sponsors, you don't see numbers, you don't see nothing. So personally, I like avoiding that, but I know there's 50% of our racers want to go back and race into the wash. So we'll see.
Copy. Do we have any good questions, Fish? Any trivia, or have we answered all those questions?
The BFG pit 1 is at kilometer 128 on the highway. So
Copy that.
yep.
Well, it seems like a pretty fun race course. Jose G, done a good job. You want to let us, before we let you go, you want to let us know anything fun about the Baja 1000?
Like what? Like it's south to north? Or
I think it is south to north because it starts in La Paz. So I got that part figured out. How about, will you tell us if we're going up the steps or going the other direction through El Machudo? Will you tell us if we're doing the Constitution Whoops, which I'm hoping for? Any tidbits, anything you got for us? What time will the race start?
How about yes and yes?
Oh, there you go.
I like that.
And new sections, which I love them. So yeah, they're just expect surprises that the places you've never been on before. They're fun to race and pretty cool. And I mean, just starting south to north is going to be spectacular. And when you're in Ensenada, I mean, your team's already here. You're close to home. So I think it's going to be better. To me, I think it's smarter to do it that way. Not that we're going to keep doing it like that, or maybe do it once down, once up. I don't know. But when you finish in La Paz, you're all tired, your equipment's tired, and then you have to drive back all the way, and there's no hotels, there's no place to stay. I mean, it's just you're already here. I think that's one of the good things that doing it south to north, but we'll see how it goes.
Can you say if it's going to San Felipe or not? That's a question we've had a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, there you have it.
There you go.
Right from the boss's mouth.
All right.
Andy, you got anything you want to throw at Jose G?
Be nice.
You know, one thing that did happen to me at the 400 last year was coming into Ojos off the start. My tracker, the VCP thing in the truck, there was like a glitch from the start of that speed zone. Like my tracker didn't engage the speed zone until that first left turn on the good road into Ojos after you hit it. And so I was wondering, like, for protocol, obviously I'm a racer, so I'm looking for advantages.
Yes, yeah.
What should I do in that situation, or if anyone else is in that situation?
I mean, we always tell people your Stella can break off the bat, so you know where the speed zone starts. You know where. I mean, it's not we're allowing you to pre-run 2 weeks. You know where it is, and that's one thing. Like when we finish the race and people start to blame the Stella, like you know where they are. So yeah. By protocol, follow where you know the speed zone started and finished.
Okay.
And then the Stella is not actually the device recording the whole time, right? Or is it, Jose G? Is there a second device?
Both. We have the Stella and Spica, and they both connect to each other. They're both data loggers, but Spica will only transmit data when they're within like cell signal and things like that. So that one does not have sat signal, but it's recording. I want to say even a little bit better than the Stella. But we use both informations. We overlap them, and we've been great for years now. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. So if someone thinks their Stella is not working and they can speed, that's wrong because the other device is still recording your data.
But then the other one's recording also.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I wanted to make a note that anybody that hasn't driven down the Baja Peninsula for the Baja 1000, I know we're talking 400, there's a giant mountain pass after San Ignacio headed southbound into Santa Rosalia. And there's a pretty big mountain pass leaving Loreto headed back up to Insurgentes. Just plan your trip accordingly and know how long it's going to take you to get through those sections. Lots of people going to La Paz maybe that have not been there in the past. So ask someone who might know, give you some information. We'll try to feed you some information through Fishgistics, through Desert Assassins. And I know Score, Jose G is going to be doing a bunch to put out information as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
How do we do, Fish?
Pretty good. I think
People
we covered
still
the
hate
course
us?
pretty good. It's pretty good. Everybody still hates you. Yes. They called you a donkey a few times. So
Yeah, by the way, you were kind of talking crap about my 2x status. I just wanted to let you know that I take offense to that.
yeah. I mean, you're gonna keep trying to show up to win in a 2-wheel drive. That's up to you, but kind of waste your money, maybe. I don't know.
You just keep talking shit, Fish. You want to put your money where your mouth is. Let's talk about some betting over here.
Okay, $500 if you win the race. I'll give you $500.
500, and you're gonna take the rest of the field or all the all-wheel drives. Is that how it goes?
No, you don't have to give me any money if the rest wins. Just if you win, I'll give you $500.
Cameron, will you give me 250 if you win?
I'll give you 250. Yeah, I'll give you all 500.
Yeah, let's work on that.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you guys. I mean, everyone and their sister now has a Mason all-wheel drive, so it's not getting any easier. Obviously, Rob did it at 500 last year, but man, that's quite the hill to climb. But more power to you.
I don't disagree. The Masons are awesome. I love them. I feel like putting the big block in the truck is going to make a big difference for us. I'm excited about the reliability, and I hope that the Baja 1000 is 1,500 miles long, and I hope we hit every sand whoop in San Felipe. That's what I hope.
Your odds are going to go way up if that's the case, for sure.
Yeah. And you heard Jose G say yes and yes. So if we're going through the Constitution whoops, I'm even more stoked because that adds another 38 miles of whoops we didn't do last year on the Peninsula run, and get off that damn lake bed up there. That's for dirt bike riding in the summertime. Damn it.
Yeah, and then you're doing Old Portesitos Road, getting back up to San Felipe, 200 miles to go. That's nastiness.
Yeah. Bring
No
the dog trap.
No one said anything about Old Puertecitos.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah. Wow.
Hopefully you go through the mini summit too. The other
no.
Cried
Oh
about
no.
it, right?
He said no Old Portesitos, so that means probably that big wash that's down below that.
That's what I would guess.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay.
Hey, Jose G, you're doing a great job. Keep having fun. Keep those penalties away from our number 16. Okay. I know this is a score Baja 400 show. Yeah, I got to show you the money. I was watching the Johnny football this morning, the Johnny Manziel story. I never watched that before. That's pretty good. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say, but I wanted to say, even though this is a score Baja 400 show, I did want to give huge props to my racing partner, Ryan Arciero, for winning Vegas to Reno. And I also wanted to give some love to Adam Householder, who I believe was second. Is that how it ended up going down?
I think so. Yeah.
I think
Pat Dean
so too.
with
And
them,
Pat
right?
Dean, my old racing partner, he quit us. Damn it. But yeah,
There's sure been a lot of three-peats lately, with Luke three-peating the 1,000 in 22, Ryan three-peating Vegas to Reno this year, and now Bryce has a chance to three-peat the 400 next weekend.
Oh,
I would gladly give Bryce the 400 in trade for the 1,000. Just saying.
I bet you would.
Hey, Andy, best of luck to you at the 400. Stoked to have
Andy,
you.
how hard are you driving at the 400?
I keep telling myself 70%. Everything changes when you put that helmet on and you hit that gas pedal, and all those old feelings come back. So, who knows? We're definitely going to play it smart. And the goal is, Bryce has any major issue, then I'm right there to capitalize on it. So we got some more strategy to figure out. And once qualifying goes down and we know where we start, we'll know what kind of games we might want to play with people and have some fun with it. But I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of things people could do this race depending on where you qualify. Because if you're 1 and 2, the number 2 truck might just be going really slow for a long time, right?
100%. I mean, it's off-road racing and lots of variables, and what's going to happen. So it'll be fun.
It's going to be a fun one to watch, actually. I'm excited to watch it.
The race director is right there listening to you. Just saying.
There's nothing illegal about going slow.
Yeah.
Copy. All right. Well, it's been fun. You guys are the best. I appreciate the time. Once again, it's all opinion based, lots of fun. You guys do your own homework out there, but talk some stories, share this so Fishgistics gets more love and more sponsors so they can keep paying me the big bucks. And thank you, Andy McMillan, for your time coming on, bringing your expertise.
Absolutely. I mean, congrats to Fish on the show. I mean, even when I'm not on it, obviously I'm watching all the episodes, and you get all the good information and the inside looks at the courses. And Cameron, you obviously do an awesome job at what you do and making the show what it is. Thanks, Jose G and Score, for giving us the best place to race in the world, and being fair and honest and with a lot of integrity to everyone. And I'm looking forward to getting down to Baja again. And I haven't pre-ran since last year's 1,000, which is probably my longest spell ever. So I'm looking forward to eating some tacos and seeing everyone down in Baja.
Right on. We're excited to see you down there, Andy. Thank you, Jose G, for making the time from the headquarters there at Score. We appreciate all you do.
No, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and I'll be here anytime. So good luck to both of you. Good luck to everyone, and I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Fish, thanks again for creating this space for all of us off-road racers and fans, enthusiasts alike, for a place to be able to hear about the race, hear from the racers, and be able to have good, straight communication.
Yeah, I mean, it's you guys that make it what it is. If you guys weren't on here, we wouldn't have any good information, right? So thanks to you guys for coming on here with the good info.
Right on. That's going to do it for this episode of Fishgistics. We'll see you after the Baja 400 for the wrap-up show, and we'll start talking more about the Baja 1000 coming up in November. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe, pre-run smart, and don't haul ass on the highway.